80 to 90% of businesses fail in the first 5 years of operations. And what happens to those 10 to 20%? What would lead somebody to leave a safe and secure job?
Yes.
To plunge into the risk of the uncertainty of the life of an entrepreneur?
I had to reduce my monthly expenditure at that time from 15,000 Ghana cedi to 2,000 Ghana cedi.
Informality feels cheaper until it becomes the ceiling on growth. It's cheaper to not have those things, but they would forever limit the growth of the business.
Yes. You need to test whether the financial model will work here. That model might not work here.
There are contracts you want to win. If you're not organized, you're not registered and compliant and all of those things, nobody gives you those. You can't get those contracts.
Nobody. My journey has not been smooth.
Yeah.
But it's the best journey and the best decision I've ever taken in my entire life.
This is the JB Show, and it's your life by design. If you're somebody who's been following the data around business success and failure rate across the world, whether it's data that is released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the US or across the African continent, that rate has been put to between 10 and 20% success, which means 80 to 90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. The 10 to 20% of businesses that succeed, are they lucky? Or is there something about the way they were managed that we can learn from to increase the chances that we would build a business that will be in the 10 to 20% that succeeds? That's what we want to look at today on the JB Show. I'm your host, Joe Abbas Bangura, and it's your life and your business by design. This is the JB Show, and it's your life by design. So today I have a guest on the show to help us drill down into maybe some of the things you could look at before you begin, and to know whether you're ready or not, and increase the chances to make sure you can build a business that at least survives the first 5 years. And my guest today on the show is Abbiw. I hope I got that right. It's Michael Abbiw. Michael is CEO and lead consultant for MJ Consulting Ghana and president of Chartered Institute of Marketing in Ghana. And also over 20 years, he's had over 20 years across strategy, sales, marketing, HR, enterprise development, working across financial services, insurance. He's had over 20 years working across strategy, sales, marketing, HR, and enterprise development, and worked across financial services, insurance, real estate, and the government sectors. He was named as one of Ghana's most influential corporate leaders of the decade in 2025. That was by the prestigious Ghana Enterprise Awards. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Joe. It's great to be here.
It's funny, when did we have our first call?
But I think it would be around 3 years ago. Yeah, we started the conversation, and I remember I was like, Ben said, you need to meet Joe. You need to meet Joe. He
said the same thing to me. He said I need to talk to Mike.
And I think later on, I placed the call. I think we had a chat, and the whole interest was coming into Sierra Leone. At that time also, I had gotten some major project that I thought that my presence was needed. So I said, let me hold back and let me sort this one out before we go out there. And by that time we were operating already in Nigeria, and Nigeria was already also taking a lot of time. So we said, let's hold on. And until recently it came up again. Our new 3-year strategy said we need to get into West Africa. So I called you again, and you said, hey, Mike, come, and I'm here.
All right, so let me read a thesis for you, and let me read something which is almost like at the back of what's driving you and what you've been doing. You're Ghanaian.
Yes.
Born and raised in Accra.
Yes.
In Ghana.
No, in Accra.
In Accra itself.
In Accra, Ghana. Yes.
In Accra, Ghana.
Yes.
Now, but listen to this. Across Sierra Leone and the wider African continent, the West African sub-region, interest in entrepreneurship is rising fast amongst graduates, employed, professionals, tradespeople, and the diaspora.
Yeah.
That's healthy, but you're saying here the public conversation about entrepreneurship is lopsided. It celebrates the idea, the motivation, and the hunt for capital, and it almost completely skips the part that actually determines survival. And you said a couple of things there: execution capability, personal preparedness, real market understanding, and the discipline to run a business on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
And you said the result is a gap between enthusiasm and readiness. Enthusiasm and readiness. The gap is not a shortage of good ideas. It is, and this is why so many promising businesses stall, because it's not about enthusiasm. There's a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of businesses are not ready. How did you come up to draw this conclusion?
So, you know, over the years, you meet people and they say, okay, yeah, Michael, you're a business developer, you're an enterprise developer, I want you to help me. I have this idea, I want to set up this business. And I keep on asking, you know, this very key question: are you ready?
Ready or not? Are you ready?
So in my entrepreneurship class, you know, we talk about the difficulties of entrepreneurship, for instance. And one of the difficulties of entrepreneurship, and every entrepreneur will tell you, is that you face isolation. Because in the journey of building your own business, you're serious, you are knee-deep into your building, and friendship will suffer. Sometimes you are supporting family, and you need to take out money, and now you can't do that. Because those days you were taking salary and it was easy to support. Now you are the one putting the money into the business. So the money and the resources you have will be truncated. Are you ready for that? There are family members that are going to say that, now he's very wicked. He doesn't support the family anymore. Are you ready for that? And what if the business fails? You know, you have to recruit. And I've been asked several times, what is the biggest challenge I had when I was in running my business? And I always say, people. Do you know how to recruit? Do you know how to identify talent? And how do you manage them? And so when you look at all these things, it's really not just about the idea. It's really not about the financial muscle, if you have it. But it's about the things that happen in between. That day-to-day running of the organization. The management of the customers, if you are lucky to have them. That is what I think we are missing. And I believe that we need to start looking at those things, because we've solved the problem and we keep on bringing money. And we've seen, and I can tell you, for instance, there have been organizations that have been able to source funding, millions of dollars in Africa, and 5 years down the line, they say they are collapsed. Discipline to be able to manage the day-to-day affairs of the business. Do you have that? Have you built that? And these are questions I think that maybe we'll have conversations.
So it's not just about the enthusiasm that you have. It's are you ready?
Yes.
Now, and you've looked at 10 things. You know, as I walked through these items and these issues, I was wondering whether you already. Do you have a book that documents this?
So I think I have over maybe close to about 60 manuals based on my training.
Just manuals that you prepared.
I'm using 5 years to write my first biography. I want to be able to finish it when I'm 50. So I'm taking my time. So I have six more years to finish that. So I'll be counting from when I was 40 to when I was 50. So yes, that is in the works. I'm writing a whole practice guide on selling in Africa. Currently we are over 400 pages and we're still building it. I've told my stories here and there, but I believe that these journeys must be documented. And one of the things I have done since I became the president of the CIMG is to use that position to promote a lot of people who want to write. And this is
Chartered Institute of Management of Marketing in Ghana.
Yes.
And you're president. Now, so let's move. You said there are 10 things you could do to increase your chance in terms of your readiness. Let's ready fire game. Let's move now and see, and let's run through these things. So the first one, you said you have to assess your readiness and not just the idea.
Yes.
So tell me, let's go. Release that.
No, because we do a lot of entrepreneurship support at MGA Consulting, and mostly the development agencies and all the agencies are looking at, okay, is your idea, come and pitch your idea, let's see how good your idea
So
is.
most time it's about the idea.
Idea, yes.
Even when you're doing competitions and all of those things, it's really the idea that.
And the idea leads to whether we want to fund you or not. But I think one of the key questions that we need to ask is that, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you mentally ready? Are you ready in terms of your family? I had to have a sit down with my wife and said, you know what, I want to take this journey. These are the possible challenges we're going to face. And today we have money because I'm CEO of an organization. But when I start, all that money will not come through. And it's likely that it's not going to take the 6 months we envisage, maybe a year. Maybe it will take 2 years before we are able to break through. And it would mean that we have to drastically cut down on our resources.
What would lead somebody to leave a safe and secure job?
Yes.
To plunge into the risk of the uncertainty of the life of an entrepreneur? What would normally push you to do that?
No, I think everybody is for a better tomorrow. Everybody, sometimes as you keep on delivering, you see a solution to a problem that society has, and you believe that you have the capacity to be able to deliver that solution. There are times where people are actually pressured to enter into that environment. People are pushed into that environment. I don't have work, I need to do something. So I find myself in there. So it's a crazy environment, but it's a journey that people have to take. And let me say this, by the way, I have a complete different perspective when it comes to who state institutions must support to build businesses. I think that we should focus on the professionals. The others are good, but let's focus on the professionals. Those who have been in the system, those who know how businesses run, those who have the network, and those who have a bit of some money to start with. Those are the professionals already in the system that we can be able to target and get them to build businesses. But that is just by the way.
So let's come back to the assessment. Assessing personally yourself. How can someone honestly assess whether they are ready, not just excited to start a business? And obviously there are a couple of stuff you're talking here about, what to do with dependents, buffer savings, and the possibility that you're going to be 12 months without, income.
Yes, and I was telling you earlier, I projected 12 months. It took me 5 years.
To profitability?
Yes, 5 years. No, it took me 5 years to see good money. So 5 years I was struggling to pay school fees. Are you prepared for that? Are you ready?
Pay school fees for your kids?
Yes, you need to. If your business, you've started a business and you're not making the money, and it's new, and people are now need to accept you, and the money is not coming. Are you ready for that?
So that's one of the things that
that's one of the things. So if you have kids, you want to be able to find out. And some of us, you have a whole family that depends on you. How are they going to survive?
And so obviously part of the assessment, I'm just reflecting, part of the assessment of your readiness.
Yes.
Is involved in the next 9 things we're going to be talking about.
Yes.
The next 9 things. So Mike says there are 10 things that you...
But you see the readiness also, because the readiness, the first one is the personal readiness. But
your personal readiness.
The personal readiness.
Mental, psychological.
The psychological, capacity, financial, family dependency. So the first thing is, it's good to have the idea and to have maybe a method or a plan, but are you ready for that journey? And anytime I meet people, that's the first conversation that we need to have. Let them understand what it means.
How often you thought of second guessing yourself and said, even you, to say, was I really prepared? Was I really ready? Because if it takes you 5 years, something you said you thought would take 12 months,
yes.
It take you 5 years to really now sometimes get to your employment level, what you were earning when you were an employee or a CEO, and it taking you that five years, and you're wondering. Have you ever gotten to the point where you would begin to second guess yourself?
No, I got to.
Or maybe even your wife to begin to say, Mike,
did we take a good decision?
Mike, is this working?
No, and I can tell you for a fact that I've met a lot of people like that. I've met families, and I've been able to speak to whether is the husband or the wife that give it time. It's going to take the care. Once you see that it's growing and it's building, then you know it's going to work. And so yes, I have got into that state. I actually took up an appointment, but for my mentor, who said, no, you cannot go. I see where you're going. I see what you're doing. I see the progress on the way. So stay and finish this journey. And then I stayed, and then the magic happened for me.
Stay and finish it. Now, okay, so the first point is the personal readiness. Let's go to the second one. The second one is really about capacity. And do you have the skills that are required?
Yes.
And so tell me, break down the skills. What are the skills? So the 3 buckets of skills that you said are required.
No. So you have 3 key buckets of skills that you need. First is the technical capacity to be able to deliver whatever product or service that you say you're going to do. So if you say you're going to make shoes, you have the technical capacity to make shoes. Maybe you don't have the technical capacity, but you just have an idea of building a shoe factory. That's the first set of skills that you need. The second set of skills is the commercial skills. Can you sell whatever that you are going to make, another product or services? How do you get customers? How do you maintain those customers? How do you reach out? How do you market? How do you brand? So that is also a whole skill, because you can have a very good shoe, and if you do not have the capacity or the support,
the commercial,
or to commercialize it, then you have the shoe just be in your room or your office or your factory. And then there's the third one, which is a very critical one: managerial skills. Can you manage an enterprise? These 3.
So the commercial, there's a commercial by the side, and then you say, can you manage? It's a managerial skills.
That managerial skills. You are managing people. You have to recruit. You have to.
And sometimes you're doing it for the first time.
Yes, you are doing performance management and all those things. So, but the whole idea is this: you need to assess: do you have it? Which one do you have? So maybe you have the technical skills, you don't have managerial and commercial. Can you learn it? Can you build capacity in it? That is also the next thing. If you can, then that is good. But if not, then you see, okay, who do I, or how do I get access to this in order to make my business successful? We usually think that because I am good at developing a software, I can run a business. No. They are separate capacities, and one, either you have it, and that's why you must do the assessment. And if you don't have it, you can build it.
You can build it.
Or you source for support to get it done.
And in the beginning, you don't have enough money, so that brings a limitation on the quality of people you can be able to get to pay to attract.
Yes, but
how do you deal with that?
No, but you see, the first thing is, that's why you must do the assessment. The consciousness must be there. You must now know that I don't have this capacity. And for me, I always say that is why you have friends and then you have family. I've had people that have said, hey, come do this for me. So for instance, I'm coming into the Sierra Leonean market, and one of my friends has a problem with the business. So I say, you know what, I can solve this problem for you, because that's what I do. However, how much? No, you don't. You don't pay me for this solution. I'm going to do this solution. This is the cost of the solution, but this is what I need in return. What I need in return is for you to handhold me and take me to Joe Abbas, or to take me to this person and that person. So now you understand what your shortfall is, and then you find a resource that can help you. And usually, for instance, if you don't know accounting, you'll find a friend or something to help you, put your accounts.
And that person might just have a need that you're the one who meets, and you're not butter.
And sometimes not necessarily that you even have to butter. These are people that might not give you money to start your business, but they will be able to look at some of the things for you. If you take, for instance, my company, even now, so I have a head of finance, but I know some very senior finance people. So I go to them and I say, let me show you. I'm bringing my head of finance. You mentor, guide, you review my documents for me and give me advice on the way forward. And that's how entrepreneurship should do. Make use of the resources. When we say use family and friends, we're not talking only in terms of money, but we're talking about in terms of any other resources that you can find. And mostly where you have a shortfall, you find support.
There's also a downside with friends and family. We'll
Yes.
talk about that down
Yeah.
as we go forward.
Yes.
So you're saying here you do not need to, the takeaway here is you do not need to master every skill. So first of all, is just be aware. These are the 3 buckets of skills. Which one do I have?
Yes.
Which one can I build? And which one I definitely have to outsource, money or no money.
Yeah.
And you know how, so that's awareness. So you do not need to master every skill, but you must own the plan for every gap. You must have a plan
Yes.
to say this is the gap, identifying the gap, and then have a plan on how to close that. Number 3, you said that increase our chances to make sure we can build a business that survives. And you know, you say it's to understand the industry before you enter.
Yes, yes. A lot of us go into business, you know, sometimes even assuming that we understand the industry, and we don't spend time to really assess, for instance, what are the opportunities within the industry, what are the gaps, so that you can even go and just address those gaps. Let me give an example, and I'll be using MG as we take this.
Good, do it.
Yes.
I was going to push you for that to say.
So, for instance, when we entered into consulting, but if you check the beginning stages of our organization, we started as a sales consulting firm.
I mean, so you would teach people, train people on how to sell.
How to sell, sales strategy. So we were focused on sales.
100%.
100% on sales. There was a gap. Now we got a lot of clients because you say, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for a company, not a consultant that does everything. We wanted a consultant that specializes in sales. So where they even had consultants, they said, no, you come, we have a consultant, but you come and fix the sales problem for us. Or we've done the strategy, but come and look at the sales strategy for us. And then that is where we started. Now, once we started solving the sales problem and it started working, then people said, okay, what about marketing? You know, you can do the sales and marketing together. And then the business, but they say, yeah, we can do that one. Then we started doing that one. And then they say, okay, you're doing strategy. So what about the corporate strategy? Yes, we can do that one also for you. So by the time you realize now, that company that had another service provider, you get the service provider now being pushed away, and then things being now handed over to you. So you need to understand the industry, understand what gaps
are there in the industry.
What are the challenges? What are the tools you need? There are times where people think that, okay, I've developed the software, and so I'm going out there. And I had a conversation with one software developer, and I said, let me show you something. I buy software. If I'm buying a local software, do you know what I'll be looking out for? After I have acquired your software and put in my entire organization on your platform, what if you're sick? What happens to me? So I would buy a software from somebody that has a system, that has support, that have other people. So in the event of they not being available, have you been able to do that? So now, instead of thinking that I know it, I've done it, I can be able to do that, now the question now changes, that to be able to really get a customer, that you must show the customer you have a system and you have a backing support system to be able to service the software that you're selling. And then the person said, okay, now I get you. Now I understand. It's not as easy as that. Then there is also, what if the numbers increase? Now you have to host. Do you have the money for this one and the money for that? Have you looked at this one? Now what if you have to now travel? So once now we got the understanding of how the software market looks like. Now the person said, you know what, I think I'm not ready.
So I hosted somebody a couple of weeks back, and you know, poultry, it's funny you're talking about a farm. So this guy was a poultry, he won $300,000 US in a pitch competition, and he set up a poultry and it failed. So we jokingly had for the title for that show that you know, whatever said yes, the pitch deck say yes, but the chicken said no. The chicken said no. So it was a poultry, it failed. It failed, and very badly at that. He said he didn't know enough about the industry. Even though he brought in an expert, and this is where, you know, like you're saying, you're talking about point number 2, where it says the skills, the competencies that are required. You can hire in somebody, but maybe he needed the commercial bit, Because you can't outsource everything in your business.
No, you cannot.
There's something you have to
Especially
master.
when you're starting.
When you're starting, you can't outsource it. And he didn't know enough, and the business failed because he didn't know the industry enough. Whether it was for the pilfering by the staff who's stealing the eggs, stealing the chicken, and whatever it is, and all of these things. So that you're saying, number 3, you have to understand the industry you're going into.
No, I had a friend that went into fish farming, heavy investments he put in there. One day he just got up and left all the machines and all the investments in the river and just left. He didn't understand the complexity of the industry. He thought that, and the farm manager had another farm. And the feed that was supposed to go to these fishes was just being diverted. And he just thought, how is that possible? And he was thinking that, okay, when the fish get bigger, that's when they will steal. But he didn't understand that the stealing started from the beginning. So a lot of us have made those mistakes where we see the industry, we understand, or we have a solution, but we don't have a full assessment of what is it that we're getting ourselves.
And it's interesting, again, give you another example if you're watching this. A couple of years ago, 2009, I took up a job to build a microfinance business. I'd never been in the industry at all before. 2009, and but what did I do? I went to 3-4 managing directors who are running microfinance businesses already successful at that point in time, and became students. A student take copious notes.
Yes.
By the 4th guy I went to, I met somebody there who became a consultant to outsource some of the activities, and he was a solid, robust guy. And today that guy is the managing director for the microfinance business. It's 10, 20, 30 times bigger than it was when we began. But it had to start with me going out, finding out about the industry, learning about the industry, till I got somebody who was a kingpin in the industry, who knew the industry enough. And he started out as a consultant, but then we hired him in, and he's building a very solid, maybe second or third largest microfinance bank in the country. So your word again is number 3, is understand the industry before you enter. Number 4, validate the customer and the problem.
Yes. Usually, we make this huge
and it's not theory. It's not something in theory. No. So let's talk about validation.
Let me show you something. Sometimes we're too sure about ourselves.
Too sure. We fall in love with our business idea.
Yes, we think that is a gap. That is a problem, and we have the solution, and then we drop everything in it. That is where sometimes the problem is.
So you have to validate. What practicality? How do you validate?
So let's say you're starting a poultry business. You really do not understand the poultry business. So why go build a 50,000 bed facility?
You start with what? MVP. Start with 1,000 beds.
Yes, maybe 1,000 beds. So, for instance, I'm a pig farmer. I started with 1.
You started with 1 pig?
No, 1 style.
Okay, so 1 style.
1 structure.
And how? Okay, one style.
Now we are now 4th, and I can tell you, the structure we built for the first one is different from the structure we built for the second one, which is different from the structure we built on the third one, which is also different from the structure we built on the 4th one. Why? Because as we moved, we now started validating the model, understanding how the model works. Initially, we said, okay, we're going to sell the pig one by one. Now we realize that will not work. And so now, although we started the one, now we don't do one by one. Now we do bulk. So so we're looking for bulk buyers, and we also have realized that the bulk buyers are also shortchanging you. So now you're looking for a direct route to your market yourself. So by the time you hit, and then we're trying to build the biggest pig farm in Africa. We want to do 20,000 pigs a year, but we wanted to graduate it and then build. Now we hit a snag with the farm manager, who then decided to leave Ghana and go abroad. and therefore the expertise that you had
to
rely on now was not there, and we've been struggling. But you see, because I was going in bits and pieces, although the structure, the plan was there, we said we're going to build one by one. Now you realize that now we have stopped. So for the last maybe 6-7 months we've stopped. There's no new structure, and we're trying to solve this problem. We hit a problem with the method we're using, because we're using the IMO, and we realize that later that looking at the environment, the IMO structures will not work.
What's IMO?
IMO is sawdust. Basically we put
the feed you're giving them.
No, not the feed. They stay on the sawdust rather than on the cement floors. And there's the whole advantage of that. But the environment that you find yourself, you realize that will not work, because the water was a bit more wet, and so the things were not seeping, and then the sawdust was becoming too soggy. So you basically learn. You learn.
So, and all that is part of the validation. It's testing, making assumptions, starting small.
Don't be too sure about it.
Don't be too sure. That's the warning you're giving here.
Yeah, just test the waters. Understand that this problem really exists before you're now putting everything into it.
And there's also the challenge with people urging you on, friends, family. This is good, let's go. They're urging you on. And you said encouragement from friends is not the same as real demand.
Yes. No, it's a good market. What is a good market? And then we have that challenge that. So for instance, they say come set up in Sierra Leone. I said no, I'm not coming to set up in Sierra Leone. I had one person that said I should partner to set up an insurance business, insurance company. I had the money, but I said no, I don't know that market.
You don't know the market.
I will not come and start with that. I'll start with a brokerage firm. I need to understand how the market looks like. And if you ask me now would I do it, I would say no, because. And then the next thing is that the consultancy. I came a whole week just to understand.
And that's
everybody's like, what plan? I don't have
a plan. It's just scoping the market, see what is there.
Yes. And even with that, you don't start big.
Always small.
Always small. So the plan is maybe come in here. So next 2 months I'm going to run a capacity building training, get the leaders there. You need to test whether the financial model will work here. And I remember when I went into Nigeria, I did the first one, and I realized that I could actually increase the pricing, and they will still purchase.
They could still pay.
Yeah, they could still pay. So now I increased the prices. So Nigeria pays higher than what Ghana pays. That model might not work here. So
you have to validate that continuously. And some of the points you said here, you only know this works if a stranger is willing to pay.
Yes.
People who are willing to pre-order and say yes, you're producing, yes, I'll give a deposit, to order the production.
So for instance, Monday, I came in on Sunday. Monday, I did my first meetings. I went to one insurance company, and as soon as I left that insurance company, I said, I'm setting up in Sierra Leone. You know why? Because the company said, I need you. When are you coming? When are you setting up? So I asked, will you buy? He said, yes. Did you
sign something?
No.
Pre-order. You're taking it there.
I'm taking it easy. I'm taking it easy. And that's the thing about.
And you could get a pre-order. You could get them to document.
But you should understand this. The type of conversations I've had, the type of assurances I have, and sometimes also, and that's the thing about entrepreneurship, you need to take your time. I need to go back, I need to crystallize, and that brings us to the next one, is to understand the full financial implications. Okay,
so let's go. So we'll wrap this up. Number 4. Applause is free. Anybody can clap to say this is good, this is good. But only a paying customer tells you the truth.
Yes.
Only those who pay. So now let's talk about the financial requirements. That is requirement number 5 as you prepare to know that I'm really ready to go. Let's talk about the financial requirement. Why do businesses appear profitable, run into cash shortages and all of those things? So let's talk about financial requirement broadly.
No, so generally people don't really do the full financial analysis of what they are getting into. So for instance, I know I need 2 people here, on the base. Number one is an office administrator. Number two is a business development manager who basically will follow up on the leads and then the conversations I'm going to have. How much do you have to pay these people? But what comes into it? What are the tax situations and all those things? So for instance, you must register the business, right? And then they say, okay, yeah, it costs 500 to do this, it costs 300 to do that, it costs that. But you know what they don't tell you? You need a lawyer to put the documents together. That is not on the sheet. And so you now realize that, oh, okay, to register now you need a work permit. Oh, that is $500. Now you need a residence permit. That is $150. I don't know if you get me. So, and that is, for instance, what I'm doing. Now, it's rent. Where would you want to put your office? How much is it going to cost you? How is the rent situation like in Sierra Leone? Now, it's light. So it's just not in Ghana where, you know, you have ECG, what you call NPA here. Would provide,
we call it EDSAN.
So it's okay, no, but here, now you must think solar. Or you must think, okay, now you must rent in a place where, and then there's one office space that I went to access, this is $1,000. And if you're paying $1,000, then you can be able to have a place that has a backup generator. But what if the landlord says, I'm not providing that backup generator? And I went to another place where the landlord says that unless the whole building is full, I'm not putting on the generator. So what other costs are going to come in? And so it's being able to understand the full, because a lot of people go in and then they realize, okay, now you have to pay this.
So you say there's a startup cost and there's operating cost.
Yes.
And so they just have the startup cost, they set up the first day, and then to run the business, they're out of cash.
But even sometimes, even the startup costs have hidden costs. And so, and that's why you say, why didn't I sign? I said, no, you have to wait. You need to really be able to evaluate and understand what is the full financial implication. And if that is a cost you want to bear at this particular point in time. Because some people start, and you see a lot of businesses where you see they did this, they did that, and then the business never takes off. Because there was not clear and full understanding of how.
And so that's why you said the fifth point in readiness, in preparedness is to know the true financial requirements.
Yes, the true financial.
True financial requirement. 12, 18 months forecast of everything that you know that is possible. Never not leaving anything out to make sure you know you do those calculations. Number 6 is you're talking about separating business money from family money and personal money.
That's been the biggest challenge.
You have to do that from day one?
From day one. So from day one. So one of the questions I ask whether to know whether you're ready is how much are you planning to pay yourself? And
so you should know what you're planning to pay yourself.
You meet a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't know. They've not thought about it. And it gives you an indication that this person is coming to mix them up. What is your starting salary? I was dealing with...
You should have a starting salary, that's what you're saying.
And that starting salary could be just 10-15% of what you used to earn. I had to reduce my monthly expenditure at that time from 15,000 Ghana cedi to 2,000 Ghana cedi.
And you know, I think I said to you earlier, whilst we were doing the warm-up, and I said to you, sometimes the entrepreneurship stories can be so depressing, and you wonder, why am I this when I can just go take up a quiet job at the end of the month? I just sign up for something. Why do this? It can be so depressing.
Yeah, but it's because it looks so good at the other side. It looks so good at the other side. Everybody wants to get to the other side, and I can tell your audience that my journey has not been smooth.
Yeah.
But it's the best journey and the best decision I've ever taken in my entire life. The resources, the prestige that I control today could have never had that
happened if you were
if we were in employment. And sometimes I look at, okay, that was my MD, and that's one of the reasons, okay, so if I was MD, this is all I would have been. That's the highest.
That's the highest
I could have gone to is managing director. Now that same organization, there's somebody who's managing director, and then you look at where you are now, where you have gotten to.
So it's a long play. It took you 5 years.
Entrepreneurship is a long play game. It's nobody should enter into entrepreneurship hoping to turn around tomorrow. It's possible for it to happen, and that is even a more trickier situation, because I within my first 6 months. So I think after my 3rd month, I lost my dad, and I lost my mom, and strangely, some businesses started coming through.
She opened the door for you.
She opened the door spiritually.
my son,
take this one.
Son,
so I used it. We finished the funeral, and so we did the funeral in 6 months. So after the funeral, it went to 0. I'm telling you, you go to a client and you reduce your price to the
just to make sure to the basic minimum, just to make sure.
I went for a training, and that time I wanted to collect 5,000 for a 2-day training. I brought it to 2,000. Then the guy said it's too expensive. I said, okay, you know what? I'll do your credit manual for you. This is if I'm doing a credit manual today, I'll be taking about $6,000. I was ready to do it for free, just to be able to get something
to go with.
Yes, and even that one I didn't get it.
It can be tough. It can be tough. Like I said, sometimes it can be so. It's almost like to the point of being depressed, being depressing. But we're rounding up this point, separating business money from your family. And you said there's something here. The takeaway is a business that shares a pocket with its owner has no boundary and has no future.
That is true. You need to set clearly a business account, your account. You need to fix
from day one.
From day one, agree on the salary you are going to pay yourself.
Even if it's 20% of what you have to have a salary.
And that's one of the things I tell people, that even if you know that your business cannot pay you, set the salary.
Still set the salary?
Yes, you need to set the salary, because you are expending that capacity and the business must pay. So it becomes owings to you. So let's say the month ends, the business doesn't have money, so you do not pay.
But it's still there in the books that the business owes me. The business owes me.
Because labor has been expended, and therefore you need to do that. So you need to be able to separate that, and we get it a lot more wrong. And so what happens is that once the bigger business starts earning money, and this is just income or sometimes just revenue, we see it as profits. And even if it is profit, it is not profit for your family expenditure. It's profit for the business, for reinvestment, and for the growth.
And so that is why you have to be able to just pay yourself salary, or if you're paying, it's the money, the salary that you had accrued, that's what you pay out.
And then you stay within that. You need to set that from the beginning. And for me, if I'm having a conversation with you, I would ask you that. How much are you planning to pay?
To pay yourself.
Yes, can your business afford that?
My guest today on the show is Mike Abbiw. Mike is Ghanaian. Mike is in town exploring, and he runs a consultancy firm in Ghana called
MGA Consulting.
MGA, sorry, my bad. So MGA Consulting in Ghana. And so I hope that even at this midway point, there's a lot that you already gathered. Business, entrepreneurship is the same everywhere.
Yeah.
So because we're connecting and we can relate with a lot of things you're saying.
Yeah.
The nuances may be slight, but business is the same. So stay with us, don't go away. We'll come back for the last lap as we get the last four of themes of what it takes to prepare to increase the chances of a business succeeding during the first 5 years and maybe even beyond. Stay with us. This is the JB Show, and it's your life by design. Welcome back. My guest today on the show is Mike Abbiw. Mike is Ghanaian, and he's exploring opportunities here in Sierra Leone. And we've been talking about 10 things you would need to do to prepare before you jump into business, and that which increases the chances of your business surviving. Given the statistics we read out at the top of the show, that, you know, depending on the statistics you look at, 80 to 90% of businesses fail in the first 5 years of operations. And what happens to those 10 to 20% that succeeds? Are they just lucky? And what we've been talking about are the things that if you walk around them, you know, things may come around that shakes up the business, but you increase your chances of survival. Number 7, Mike, you said it's about people. Choose people carefully and putting things in writing.
Yeah. So one of the things is that we, you know, through the journey, you're going to have partners.
You're going to have partners.
You're going to have employees. You're going to have suppliers. You're going to have advisors. Choose them professionally, carefully. Who is advising you? Or your family is the one advising you? Or your dad, who's been a civil servant for his whole life? Who's advising you? Has the person taken that journey? So as you want to take your entrepreneurship journey, one of the things you need to do from the beginning is to even choose who your advisors and mentors would be. And you must choose them carefully. People who have taken the journey, who knows the road, who have done it before, who understands the pitfalls. Or for you, it's just your pastor. No. The second thing is that...
Because your pastor knows scriptures, but your pastor may not have run business before.
Yes.
If your pastor hasn't run a business before, is the wrong person to depend on to as a mentor when it comes to business. If they have not managed the business before.
So these are things we need to take that decision ahead of time. Apart from that, you're going to have partners, for instance. And mostly we use, oh, he's my friend. But is he the right person for your business? We use some of these. Not
just that you grew up together, you went to the same school together.
No.
And there are questions of value.
It doesn't matter whether you went to school with a person or not, but it's the person capable of delivering that service. So
one bit, there's a competence bit. They have to be competent to do that.
And that's what we're saying. Select them carefully. And then there's the employees also. Are you partnering with family members, friends, children or friends?
Those are children or friends. They are the ones you brought into the business. And to fire them now becomes a problem.
Yes.
You're looking at your friend, what would they say?
And then they see you.
They say it's firing his family members.
Yes. He doesn't care. You know, I remember, you know, my junior brother was in the house for 4 years. My business was growing. And one day my mother invited me to the house. And he says, yeah, you just recruited this guy from the neighborhood.
You just recruited this guy from the neighborhood, and your brother is there.
Your brother is in
your junior brother is there, and you haven't given him job.
You haven't given him job. So you have your brother's son who's in the house. It should be about competence.
But how do you balance? How do you balance that with, well, he doesn't care for his family?
You know, that's what I'm saying. You know, when we ask you, are you ready? I spoke about family.
I know you talked about family. Are you ready?
Are you ready to deal with all?
Because you have to be able to deal with that.
You have.
It's really about the survival of the business.
And I have told people that, let me show you something. Let your business survive, make more money, then go back and take care of your family. At that point, they'll forget every wrong you have done when you start giving them the money. Now, in Ghana, we do a lot of funerals over the weekend. I don't go for funerals. I wait Sunday when the money is done, then whoever that is.
What you call funerals?
Funerals.
Funerals. Yeah.
So, and now, you know, everybody's making an excuse for me. Oh, Michael is not there. Mike is not. Oh, he might even be out of the country. You know, he's always.
They are making an excuse for you because
you are sending the money.
You're sending the money. If you can't go, you send the money.
You send the money. So make the money.
You know, I have a guy. One of my technical guys that works with the team. You know, it's something I share with him all the time. You know, it's very, very close to his family. So every weekend he has to be with his family, and we've fought those battles this over again and again. You know, if you have to make money and they have family to stop, and you know, you cannot be everywhere for everybody.
Yeah.
But you're much more appreciated if you can actually meet it, because to sit there before your family and don't have anything to give them is much as, okay, I see you face.
It's one of the 10 we'll discuss that also, because it's pretty much important. You need to learn how to separate those emotions.
You have to. Okay, that's the final one. We're talking about emotions, how you manage the emotions. But you choose people carefully.
Yes.
And also, you say so friendship. Why this matters? Friendship, family, and loyalty cannot replace competence.
No.
And role clarity, performance standards, exit terms, you have to have all of those documented.
So if I'm signing an agreement, you need to sign an agreement. Yes, it's Joe Abbas, we are brothers, but we need to have an agreement. Yes.
You have to be at work 8 o'clock and it's 9 till 5. And this is what you can't do here.
No, so
they all have to have employment letters.
You know, I was talking about, you know, supporting somebody and taking something in return. Even the support for free, I put it in a contract. And then this is how much you would have paid me. Yet still, I'm waiving it off, so you understand the value of what I'm doing for you. And I'm saying even yourself, you can't even write your salary off.
Yeah. You said document it, record it.
It must be a cost to the organization. That is where you can measure if the company is doing well.
It's actually making money.
Money or not.
And so you say choose for competence, protect the relationship by writing down the agreement.
Yes.
Choose for competence. All the time competence?
Yes.
And so it's funny, my elder brother, this is just a joke.
So, yes.
When we were young and coming up, my elder brother would not pick me in his football team. Because I wasn't good. And so it's funny. There are times I stand by the side and says, look at this guy.
Yeah.
I'm his brother. I'm his younger brother.
Yeah.
And he can't even put me in his team. But he says, I wasn't the best of footballers. And he was right to do that.
Yes.
But from a family point of view, from a African traditional point of view.
No, I was summoned.
You're summoned.
I was summoned. My mother said, I just heard you give this person a job.
And what did you say to your mom?
No, I said, you know what, I'm looking for a job for him. When I get, he would go. I'm looking for a job for him. The next thing...
It does not necessarily have to be in your business.
No. And then the next thing was that he needed to build his capacity, which he did. And then when he built his capacity, now I took him on the basis
of his competence. And so you can actually, there are a couple of stuff you could do by the side to help them build their capacity, show them you care, but you do not necessarily just give them a key role to play in your business if they don't have the competence.
Yes.
Number 8, we're running the clock down.
Yes.
So prepare for personal and emotional cost. Is it 8 with emotional cost?
Yes.
Personal and emotional cost. Talk about that.
When you set up a business, you're going to lose a lot of friends. You're not going to have the time you used to have if you're really going to build your business. And we just spoke about the fact that you have to refuse your own brother, your nephew, your niece. And sometimes it's so difficult. So I recruited staff, or my team recruits staff. The person is not performing, you're paying the person. Yes, so you have your nephew sitting in the house. It's okay, if I'm going to pay somebody who is not working, then why not?
Why not?
But you have to be ready for that. It will not come easy to you. You need to set realistic timelines. I don't know if you understand. This sometimes we plan that, we are going to turn over in 3 months. It doesn't work that way. I said 1 year. It took me 5 years.
and you survived the 5 years.
So now, based on my experience, I don't advise anybody to do 1 year or 2 years. And I tell everybody, let me show you something. You are likely to break even in 2 years, 2 years, 3 years. That is break-even point. But if you're really going to get to a place of success, give yourself 5 years. Now, the reason why you must give yourself time also is that you need to build the structures. But this period now comes with the emotional side of it. people are asking you, have you been able to, how is it going?
How's it going?
How is it going? How's the business doing? You know, there was a time that basically when I was hitting around every place, it was not working. I then decided to withdraw. And one day I had a friend who was looking for me all over, and he got the address of my house. He came. So when he came, I was sitting on the floor in my living room, and then he was, you know, the door is a glass, so he saw me. He said, "You, I'm looking for you." And I said, "Come in." He came in and he said, "Let me show you something." And he had taken that road already. He said, "I know how you feel.
How you feel?
I know what you are going through. I understand it."
And it can be difficult.
Yes, but you cannot stay hidden. You need to be out there. You need to show out. And I think it was the first time I took a handout, and that was to pay my children's school fees. He says, "Your kids are also my kids. You at least let me sort out the school fees." And that was the first time I really felt like, hey, I'm poor. Yeah, it was, and so you need to be able to be ready for that. And a lot of us are not ready for that emotional.
You know, so you say here, entrepreneurship brings uncertainty, rejection, delayed payment, loneliness, slow progress,
Yes.
possible loss of status,
Yes.
public success stories edit out the grind. So ordinary difficulty can feel like personal failure.
No, but can you imagine that you go to church? I was MD, I had a 4x4, I had a saloon. And then I step out with my own cars, my cars break down. And then I had to now get the small Kia Morning, very small car, and you had to drive that to church.
And people are looking at you. The pastor's looking at you. People are looking at you.
Yes, and you can just imagine the.
You know, again, I think we have to, again, it's important we're sharing this because the glamour, you have a lot of glamour.
Yes.
And then whether it was Elon Musk.
Yes.
Yeah. We told a story about Elon Musk when he actually sold Zip2. And then whether it was them trying to build PayPal, where he actually had to stay in a YMCA hostel.
Yeah.
And you know, they didn't have a bathroom there, so he was actually taking his bath in another place there and coming back. They only had one computer, and he would be working at night, the whole of the night. The computer has to be up during the day because that was the server and that they had to use. And so there are tough times in the life. Lots and lots of those stories where the business could have actually gone bankrupt in 6 months.
Yeah, sometimes it even goes bankrupt. And you still have to lift it up. and for me, these are the things that we need to have that conversation with, so that when you face it, and so there are times where I tell my clients, let me show you something. As soon as you face it, this time you know that I said it to you. And then I tell them that let me show you something. This one will also pass.
It will pass. It will pass.
This is one of
you know, you're talking about school fees. I've also been in those situations where I couldn't even pay my kids' fees. I still earn money. Money was coming in. But money was coming in, and now paying salaries and all of those costs that are around you.
And the net is zero. It's negative.
Net zero. And I couldn't. So it took me maybe 72 hours. You know, the kid was asked out of school on Monday. It took me till, so he came back home on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's when I developed the courage to call the principal. Mr. Principal, she hasn't hit her money, like they gave him the school fees. She hasn't hit her fees. I just don't have it to give her to go pay. So, you know, give us till the end of the month, or give us, we had a date, give us till the end of the month, and we'll be able to sort it out. It took me 72 hours to develop the courage to call the principal, because of who you are in society. People look at you, hey, this guy, isn't that who to pay fees? Like you said, you're doing your small car to the church, and everyone are looking at you.
Where I was living was a big house. So I had to sit down with my landlady that, let me show you something. I don't have the money to pay you this year. I'm working around it, but I'll get it for you. And my landlady looked at me and he says that you've been here for, I think that time about 6 years. He said, you've been here for 6 years. I've seen.
You've never had an issue
before.
With your rent.
So take your time, anytime you're ready. Don't bother yourself, go build your business, but don't bother yourself. Now, she leaves, and then that weekend I was home, and then she comes again. And this time I say, what again? How am I going to, what is this? And then, she gets down from, a taxi, and because she doesn't have a car, but she got down from the taxi, and then they were bringing things from the taxi. So cassava, this, that. And then she comes and she leaves it with me. You must be ready.
You must be ready. So prepare for the personal and emotional cost. Because it's going to cost you.
It's going to cost you. It's going to.
That's why I said to you just now, this is depressing. Why do we still do this?
Because the end looks good. It's like what people go through.
Why do we still do this?
People go through, the desert, pass through Libya, and all those things, cross the peninsula.
What they could see.
Yes, and they are telling them you could die. It's dangerous. Yes, but they still go because of what they see at the end of. But the whole thing is this. What we are saying is that these 10 things we are saying, at least you can resolve that before you enter into it.
You think about them. Yes. You prepare the person, not just the plan. Number 9, use governance and compliance as growth. And why does this matter? And what does governance and compliance as growth tools, what does that mean, and why does it matter?
So for instance, you're going to run a business. And sometimes we move over the years and we realize we don't have records. One of the biggest challenges when it comes to funding and support is records. So from the word go, you need to be able to build that record system. Data, collect data, these things that. The other thing too is also build compliance from the beginning. I always say that, let me show you something. When you start, a lot of entrepreneurs build businesses, they don't have HR policies from the beginning. Everybody comes, does anything they want to do, come to work, and
so when you say compliance, it will be HR policy. What else? What else? What else will be under compliance? Let's go.
HR, you have operations, your finance,
manuals.
Yes.
Finance, keep the records.
Keep the records. Not only the records. For instance, you have policies like every money must be banked.
Okay, financial policies. Every money must go to the bank directly. Yes, and there should be 2-3 signatories to the account.
And then you need to have 2-3 invoices at least source to reduce costs. So these.
So you have to have
and
those.
then you must set it from the beginning. The thing is,
it's not when you make money now. No, it says that.
No. If you get them from the beginning, what happens is that every person that comes
in the business
into the structure. When they come, what they see is what they do. How it is done, everybody gets used to it. So you build, because it's been a very difficult situation when you are invited in the middle after some 8 years, company is doing well, and now you want to govern. Now you want structures to be in place. Now you want people to now. So there's this company I'm working with that the MD wants people to wear suits now. Wear jackets, and the people are crazy.
Jackets and say why? You didn't do it in the beginning. It's now that you understand.
Why are you asking us to do this? And then the person is saying, "No, look at the business we are doing, the environment we are doing, the people we are dealing with." So sometimes it's important, especially for even not just the small entrepreneurs, but the major businesses, to get it right from the beginning.
Records.
Yes, you need to get it right from the beginning.
You say it's informality can actually block bank finance, corporate contracts. There are contracts you want to win. If you're not organized, you're not registered and compliant and all of those things, nobody gives you those. You can't get those contracts.
Nobody. And I've had a lot of consultancy jobs come to me because my competitors are not ready.
They are not as structured administratively like you are.
So recently there was a contract and they were asking for, they need employers liability, they need that, they need this, they need that, and then sometimes your own, colleagues, your competitors or your colleagues will come to you and say, Michael, there's this contract. I know when I go I will not get it because I don't have the paperwork.
You don't have the paperwork
to get it. So can you go take it and then we do it together? Yeah, so some of these things, and basically, once you do that, from the word go, you have structures in place. Even if it's a tabletop shop, customer service delivery, how do you want to deliver that? That should be there.
Should document it.
Yes, and it's one of the things I've seen here in Sierra Leone, customer services. Down to
it's poor, right?
I can't say it's poor. I'm coming here. I don't want to be but I said it can be improved.
It can be improved. I like that.
It can be improved. There's a lot of work, to be done.
In customer service.
I went to this restaurant, posh everything, and I was telling them that I don't know how to get credits on my phone. So can you, any one of the waiters or anybody to go get? And they just said no. That's it. I'm there paying customer, buying all these things. No.
Here. Okay.
2 days ago.
2 days ago. So you're saying, and it's a point, informality feels cheaper until it becomes the ceiling on growth. It's cheaper to not have those things, but they would forever limit the growth of the business.
Yes. And you have sometimes when people say, oh my God, why are you recruiting so many people? It's just a consultancy. Hey, one bag, some 2 people, you're good. No, I am not good.
If you're going to grow,
but you see, it's those formalities, those things you put in. It takes money off you, but it creates more money.
More money. I've seen it over and over again. I've seen it over. So there's a guy, I have an example of somebody who was working as a lone ranger. Where his computer is, that's where his office is, and just roaming all over the place. There's a limit to businesses you can compete for, because people know there's nothing. You don't have any structure, you don't have any systems, nothing around you. We built something, we built a structure, systems, financial accounting system, HR system, operations, sales, marketing. So now instead of him responding to, delivering to every call he used to take it, now there are people calling from finance to finance department, operations to operations and stuff. And in no time, we won a contract for $100,000.
Yeah, I had this contract from a German company, and we got to the financials. So we're discussing the financials in and now, and what they wanted to pay was a bit lower than, a lot lower than what I was asking for. So we had the first round of discussion. So they said, okay, you know what? And these are Germans. They said, let's come to your office. So let's complete this discussion.
Let's complete the discussion to your office. Is that another way to say?
So I said, okay, no problem. Come to my office. So they came to my office. And then I now decided to take them around. Okay, so this is our finance department. This is our research department. This is our training department. This is IT. This is that. And they were, oh, really? That's very organized.
Now they know why you're asking for what you're asking.
Now you know what happened. So I take them to the office, we give them coffee, and then I take my diary out. Okay, now let's come to the matter of the money.
And they said, okay, fine, we're good. What did they say?
So, Mike, let's talk about the timelines.
Let's talk about the timelines.
Let's talk about the delivery line.
This is no longer money business. And you're right. So that's
because they see the value, they see what you're putting in, and
structure.
Yes, and so it's important that you look at the governance, you look at compliance, you look at record keeping.
So we emphasize again, informality feels cheaper until it becomes the ceiling to your growth.
Yes.
Limits forever. So now the final one, number 10, knowing when to start. When to pause, when to adapt, or when to walk away.
Yes. I think it's a Kenny Rogers that has a song.
You got to know when to hold on.
Know when to
hold on. Know when to walk away. Know when to run.
So it's quite interesting. There are times where you must know that the thing is not working.
It's not working.
Yes.
You have to know when it's not working.
You have to know when it's not working, and that's where the records. So the way, if you look at the 10 is built on each other. You need to, your records should show that,
and that's why you should be keeping records, because you would know, you will see the trend.
You see the trend, you see that it's going south. Sometimes you look at the expectations you had of the market. Sometimes also you think the market is ready for it. Yes, they will be ready, but not today. They will be ready next month or next 2 months. For instance, MGA coming to Sierra Leone must be for the long haul. Why? Because Sierra Leone is in the trust of bursting out, in terms of one day we decide that we need to do things right, we need to get there, and so you want to come back. The point is that you don't know if it's going to be this year or next 5 years or next 10 years, and so you need to be able to understand and see the trend and take that decision that at this point. There are times where you hold up. So when I spoke about my pig farm, for instance, I'm in a state.
You said you've paused in the pig farm because you've lost the guy who's the main operator.
We've changed twice. We haven't.
It hasn't worked.
So I say, you know what? So I've stopped
the growth.
The structures.
You don't build. You don't expand. You pause.
I pause. And the only thing I'm saying is that keep those ones, sell them, just run till we get the right guy that we can use. So there are times where you
maintain what you have. Don't go.
Pause. In Nigeria, for instance, we had a very good run, but when we had some major projects in Accra that needed my physical presence, and so when we looked at the model, we looked at what is it that we are going to do. We said no. Let's pause Nigeria. Not to shut down, but let's pause. And the new model for Nigeria is different. So we now went for a whole new model, and that's the same model we are bringing into Sierra Leone. So it's a model that now doesn't rely on me; it relies on my guidance, but not
your presence
and my management.
Okay. So and when we're talking about know when to walk away, sometimes it might mean you have to go back to employment, go take up a job. It's not a crime to work for somebody.
Yes.
And there are people who are successful as entrepreneurs, working for other people. And so it's no crime to actually go back.
No, not at all. Not at all. So I had this project, the National Sales Leaders Conference that I organized in Accra. First one was so successful. Second one met up with issues. And we had invested over $110,000. Event was 5 months away. I sat down with the team. We looked at, okay, how much is the full project going to cost? Let's say 3 million. How much can we raise? 1 million. So how much do we need more? And roughly around 600,000 more. And then how much will we lose? And so it became 600,000 plus 400,000, almost $1 million. I have already lost
110,000.
110,000. So we needed to take a decision. And we took a decision.
You don't throw good money after bad money.
Yes. So we took a decision to stop it.
Leave the cost, the loss, let the loss be 110,000 rather than make it 1 million.
Yes. And that 110,000 had about 600 coming from third parties. So we needed to refund 10,000.
That was Ghanaian cedi you're talking about. Ghanaian cedi.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to the rapid fire now. Rapid fire. Employment before entrepreneurship. Is it preparation or delay?
It's preparation.
It's preparation. It's not delay at all.
No.
You would advise that any day. Why is it important?
Because you need to understand how business is run. You need to understand how business works. So because it's not just the idea, it's the business. And so having an idea and working within an environment, and if possible, working for a startup builds you better to build your own.
Because you could do several things at the same time.
At the same time.
Organized businesses, you're just in one department and you only do HR. Yes. But if you're in a startup, you do everything. Yeah, so sales, marketing, HR, all things.
So I tell the young people, if I'm motivating them, that let me show you, if you have plans to have your own business in the future, if you have that heart for it and you can take that risk, then look for smaller businesses, look for startups, work with them. And that prepares you for your own business.
Passion or competence in the first 2 years, which one would you go for?
Competence.
Competence.
Yes.
So passion alone is not important. You have to go for competence.
I always say that make the money. Once you make the money, you use it to back your passion.
You could back your passion. Again. Make the money and use the money to support your passion.
Passion without money, your business will not survive.
Loans or personal savings for the first business?
Personal savings.
Personal savings.
Yes,
Don't take
totally,
loans.
Run away from loans.
Take the risk with your own money.
Take the risk.
Why do you have to?
And then start small.
Start small.
Yes, that's the whole thing.
Why do you do that? Start small. Why do you have to do that?
No, because so when you lose, it's your money. Because when you go and take a loan, now you have to pay interest, and there's that pressure on you, and so you are unable to build. So usually I would say, start with your own money. Start small. Test the model. If the model works, then you can go look for external funding.
Friends as partners, yes or no?
No.
But you say with an agreement, if they have the competence,
yeah, but
you have the chemistry, they have the value system.
Yeah, but especially in Africa, we don't respect contracts. We don't respect the paper, and sometimes it comes up with so many emotional complications that doesn't make business.
Families as employees, is this a strength or a risk? We talked about it already. Is it a strength or a risk? Family as employees.
No, I think it's a risk. But if there's competence.
Is there competence there?
If there's competence, then
I've actually seen, fathers passing it on to their sons and stuff. So in that case, it works.
No,
competence has to be there.
So the strategy is to build a family business.
Yes.
That is the strategy, and you must understand that one day that strategy is to build a family business.
So build a family business. So they groom everybody from day one.
From day one into that. And if that is the plan, yes, then you go by it. But if that is not the plan and you want to build like what I'm doing, a consultancy firm, which is based on the experience and the practicality of people over the years, it's not something you just hand over to a son.
Now let's wrap up. Looking back, reflection time. Yeah. Looking back, what is one thing you wish more first-time founders would understand before they jet off into, investing and starting off their business? So
I think that you need to know that idea, that product is brilliant, but that is not the business. Mm-hmm. Whatever you want to do, if it's entrepreneur, you are building a business. So you need to separate the two. Separate the two. And then find out, do we have capacity to run the business? And if you don't, you either build that capacity or you find support to do that.
How do people get to find you online?
So my company name is MGA Consulting Ghana Limited. MGA Consulting Ghana Limited. So once you type MGA Consulting Ghana Limited, I'm everywhere. Or you type the name Michael Abbiw. The Abbiw is Abbiw. Michael.
So you pronounce it Abbiw?
Abbiw.
Abbiw.
Yes.
I call it Abbiw. Abbiw.
Abbiw. It's an I.
It's an I.
So once you type my name anywhere on social media, you would have a full bouquet of everything that we do. I have a personal website, and then we have the corporate website. So
it's a great pleasure having you on the set today. Totally unplanned.
Yes.
But God moves in some mysterious ways. Yes. But we believe something has been shared that's helped young Sierra Leoneans, young entrepreneurs. Hard stuff that we have shared. 10 things you have to do to make sure increase before you begin to increase the chances before you even start. Start the business. These are the 10 questions you have to be able to answer. And one of the things we said at the top of the show was that planning does not mean things wouldn't change, and it's not foolproof 100% but ultimately at the end of the day, what difference does it make?
It improves your chances of success.
Improves your chances of success.
It puts you closer to the 10%.
Closer to the 10%, 20% of people who will succeed. But then it's a pleasure that we've had. Thank you for coming and sharing your thoughts with us on the show. We believe this is not the first. A couple of stuff, and maybe we'd say this is when the peg was laid, because once you began to roll business here in Sierra Leone, we'll see what you learn.
We'll come back
and see what's happened in a year's time to see how much what what you've done with validation and the products and how far we've gone. So this is a beautiful moment we've had, and we hope you've learned something. You have a question, you agree, you disagree with some of the things that were shared, just leave your notes in the comments, leave your questions there. We will come back to you to make sure we keep this discussions going, because this is about shaping lives. This is about transforming entrepreneurs wherever they are, wherever you're watching and listening to this. I got a call from somebody in US out of a show we did with Andrew, talking about validation. Andrew wants a biodigester, builds a biodigester business, and it was very interesting because the guy caught it and said, I saw the discussions you're having. I think you can help my son. And so please reach out. Corporate speak, whatever it is, just reach out. Startup Body Shop, Joe Abbas Bangura, our contacts are on the screen. Reach out to us. You don't have to suffer alone. We can help you. We can help you do that. And reach out to Startup Body Shop. Take our diagnostic tools and then increase your chances of even just knowing, am I ready to begin? And so on behalf of our sponsors, AfriCell, AfriMoney, RC Bank, Startup Body Shop, Sierra Tel, and I want to say thank you for supporting and backing us in all we've been doing. But to you, want to say close as every day, as each show that we do. The only belief that matters is this. If you think you can, you can, because your behaviors would follow your belief. If you think you can't, you won't, because you would behave, your behavior would follow your beliefs. Till we meet again, keep pushing, keep living, because we believe this is a life you can shape. We believe this is a life you can design. Your life and your business by design. God bless.
This is the JB Show, and it's your life by design.